When you're writing and publishing, it's important to know that not everyone is going to love your work. Not everyone's going to love your writing style or your characters or your plot or something about your writing, and that is okay. But our goal as writers is to make it as good as we can for as many people to enjoy it as possible. And I just want to give a really quick editing tip. I think this is going to be a very fast video, and it's about something that I noticed in a book that I was reading recently. I'm not going to name the book or the author because obviously that would just kind of give a little bit of bias if anyone does ever read this, but I did want to read this section and let me know if you guys pick up on what I'm picking up on. I am also going to redact any character names or location names, so I'll just say redacted, but you know. Just let me know if you know. I groggily nodded and he handed me the apple. I took the apple in one hand and kept the cape closed at my throat with the other. My teeth pierced the skin of the apple and sweet juice exploded on my tongue. My first taste of location redacted was sweeter than I had feared. I took another bite, letting the juice from the apple drip down my chin. In almost a minute, I had devoured more than half the fruit. This is why I think it's so important for authors ourselves to also be voracious readers. I think reading as many things as you can, picking up on other editing styles and other writing styles, and noticing things that you might not notice in your own writing because you've been staring at it for so long, so that you can take what you learn from other writings and bring that into your own work. So if you don't know and you didn't catch, that is a-okay. What I'm talking about, it's called an echo, and it's essentially when a word is used very repeatedly in a very short amount of time. This would be different from like some kind of a catchphrase or something that is purposefully repeated, but in this section, it says apple a lot in like 4 or 5 sentences, which I'm not a huge fan of. This actually really pulled me out of the story. I was really enjoying it, and this happened with a few other words too. So in this story, there was apple, there was gate repeated multiple times, going up to a gate. The gate closed, the gate guard did something. And this happened with the word dress quite a bit. It happened with the word diadem. So it wasn't just simple words either. Diadem is not just like a very average common word, but it did happen quite a lot. And so my advice to you and what I do as a writer is while I'm doing a good read through later on in my editing process is I will try to take note of words that I'm just seeing a lot of. For me personally, I noticed that I do this thing where I use had a lot, where I say she had been doing this instead of saying she was doing this. And just cutting down on that had really actually parsed out a lot of words. So I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I think we all have our own little quirks as writers, but it's good to notice them and do what we can in order to minimize that type of thing that would pull a reader out of the story. Along with had, I write fantasy romance, okay? So I use eyes and gaze a lot. So like they're looking into each other's eyes and like his gaze followed her across the room and blah, blah, blah. So I have recognized some of those words that I use, and a really good way to start noticing those words is to just take a step back from the page and physically look at it like it's some kind of piece of art. So not reading it per se, but seeing which words you're noticing a lot of, which words are jumping out at the page. So trying to minimize those echoes and to look at the words that we use kind of as crutches or when we don't know how to rephrase a sentence. So if I was going to rephrase this apple sentence, we can do this in real time, okay? Bear with me. I'm gonna do this in real time and then I'll post what I end up with here because it might take a couple seconds. Okay, so I groggily nodded and he handed me the apple. I took it with one hand and kept the cape closed at my throat with the other. My teeth pierced the skin and sweet juice exploded on my tongue. My first taste of name redacted was sweeter than I had feared. I took another bite, letting the juice. I think I would change that because before the sweet juice exploded into the mouth. So it'd be like, I took another bite and this time juice, like there was so much juice it dribbled down my chin. In almost a minute, I had devoured more than half the fruit. Easy peasy. You just cut out like almost all of the extra apples. I'll post that here. I'll keep it up here in the caption or in words. It's captions, I guess. Show a side by side, maybe, who knows. But yeah, I think this is just something that I noticed that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Let me know some of the words that you guys use a lot in your own writing because I know I'm not alone. And I think it's good to share these types of experiences because sometimes we don't realize that we're doing it. And when you look at your own book so many times, or maybe this wasn't like this editor's forte, it wasn't something that they were like used to clocking, I don't know. You will never find a perfect book, sans spelling errors, sans everything is grammatically correct, everything is written exactly the way it should be written because it is art and art is subjective and it is going to be what it is going to be. All right, this was a super quick video, but thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.